That's the sound of Jupiter. Okay. Sounds of space. And what we're talking about right now is the application of spin theory to give us a better idea, description of our solar system. Okay, well, how does our solar system work? How was it created? What do we see in our solar system as we look at it today? Well, how the universe is created is going to have to wait a while, but that's a definition for infinity. But what we can do is we can look at our solar system, which is in the Milky Way galaxy, and by looking at all these things, we can come up with some pretty good points. We can come up with the concept that the sun was formed, as all of the stars in the sky were formed, by a collision of energy that is in the universe that is, of course, energy and mass, as Einstein stated, mc square. It's all the same thing. But in one form, it's energy, and it's traveling through this infinity of space, we could say, in this area. But it continually circles around and collides with itself. And in these collisions, you form suns. Our sun was formed by a collision of this energy, and once formed, as all the stars, once you form something in our universe, as we look here, even in our own Earth, once something is formed, it degrades. Atoms were all formed to a certain level when the Earth was, we could say, made, and then from there it degrades. Hydrogen apparently degrades into lead, and lead degrades into uranium. So, how can we take a look at our universe now and come up with a view of its creation and where it's going in this creation and change format? Well, when the sun was created, as all suns were created, it once created, it starts burning hydrogen, and hydrogen, of course, emits all this energy and mass, transmigratory we could call it, throughout the universe again. But as it does this, as it burns off its energy, it will of course get smaller in size. It will contract. And as we look at our universe, as we look at our sun and our solar system, we can easily conclude that it's contracted a number of times. Apparently, how many planets do we have here? Well, we know that it's contracted down, we would say the first one was Pluto. It contracted again to the next, what we call our next planet. And as we look at it, we now are close to the sun, and the sun seems to be getting very small. It's a very small star compared to the other stars we see up there. So it may not have many contractions left. But anyway, the contraction, as it got down here to say, what we see now is, what is that? The closest one, Mercury. Okay, that's the closest to the sun, and the sun will contract again away from Mercury. But as it goes through these contraction zones, it leaves these zones, these planetary zones, where the planets are created by collision and accumulation of mass, as that circle rotational field goes around the sun from its collapsed position. And we were made from the sun. Mars was made from the sun. The Earth was made from the particles of the sun left over from these collapses. Now, as we look at it, that would give us the explanation of why Mars and the Earth are so close together and have so many things in common. Apparently, it was just right that that in this position, the distance and size and everything of, say, Earth and Mars were just right to give the conditions that life needs. So at one time, before the Earth was created, or probably sometime after Jupiter Mercury were created, Mars had life on it. It was a green planet with lots of water and lots of good things. And the Earth was still a molten mass that nothing could exist on, because it was too hot, of course, and too close to the sun. But as the sun contracted away, leaving, of course, the two other planets there, that Earth, it cooled down. And in this range of switchovers, that Mars, of course, died out and no longer supported life. And life no longer lived on Mars. And the waters froze up into the interior of course, the mass of the planet. And then Earth started to blossom. And once it blossomed, life was good. and we get all of these things. We get man coming about. And life exists for a very short time on any surface, just as viruses exist very short time outside their host on a glass or a teardrop or all of these things. But Earth now has life. But the prognosis would be that Earth too is dying, shrinking, just as Mars shrunk, and that our water will soon be used up, as we can see by our geological evidence. When first formed, the Earth was almost totally covered in water, but that water has steadily been converted over, degraded, used up, you could say, to where now we have just a couple of oceans left, and seas, or however you want to delineate them, and that it's shrinking even more. Here, we in Texas, of course, where I sit right now, it has all the evidence that we had an ocean 200 feet surface over our head. So we have lost a lot of water and used it, and it's not in the pole caps. Anyway, Mars was life-bound, and Earth was a molten mass. Now, Mars is frozen away, and Earth is where life is. So that's an explanation of basically what we see in the future for our solar system that is in the Milky Way galaxy. Now, let's not get too morose here. Life is part of this, of infinity. It is what goes on. It is what atoms do. So it doesn't matter if life was extinguished on Mars or life becomes extinguished on Earth. Life is life. It's part of this event. It's part of the overall workings of the nature of mass in the universe. It's infinite. It's always been here, and because we're here, it will always be here. We as individuals, of course, only get this one shot at it. Life will recompose, of course. We'll go through all of these gestations and cycles again, but and are going over it now in different parts of the universe. It's nothing special. It is to us, the individual. I am because I think I am. But like a computer that's created and programs are put on, computer degrades. Computer outmoded and dies. We die. But there's a lot of truth in that thing, is that you as an individual, what you do or what an atom does or a molecule does is part of the overall event. It will always have an influence till it all starts over again. I'll leave you with the sounds of Jupiter.